I like to say in recognition that all that happened over this past year to the Gulf. This is something that is happening for the Gulf of Mexico. The President has charged me with leading this task force, but when you hear from each member of the task force or the governor's representatives to the task force, you'll see what power there is in this room. And so for me to be able to convene this group is really ministerial. I see this as an opportunity for this region, and all the work that is represented by the people in the front of the room and all of you comes together in one place and becomes an undeniable voice and force for making the Gulf better. The task force is the body to develop a fully integrated plan for our Gulf of Mexico, one that reaches across barriers that may stand between us, maybe even artificial barriers, and addresses the needs of the entire region, building on existing efforts and fully integrating public and private sectors in our work. This task force can build upon great work that's been done. It must build upon all the people in this room and all the efforts you represent. I picked out just a few to give you a sense of all that's going on in the Gulf, but you'll hear from each task force member just a smidgen of the work they're doing. The state of Alabama now has a Coastal Recovery Commission, congratulations Alabama, created by executive order on September 27, 2010. That's not to say the state wasn't fully engaged in this important issue, but the governor has now created, through his executive power, a task force headed by Mobile Press Register publisher Ricky Matthews, charged with developing a roadmap for recovery and resiliency of the Gulf Coast, and I believe they're meeting as we speak today. Louisiana's wetlands alone provide wintering ground for 70% of the nation's migratory waterfowl. Unfortunately, we also have 90% of the continental U.S. coastal marsh loss. Every 38 minutes, a football field-sized parcel of land turns to open water. This loss of land makes communities, infrastructure, ports, and other resources vulnerable, and this destruction is further unbalancing our resources, taking away critical nurseries and habitats. Louisiana has lost an average of 34 miles of land per year for the last half-century. The region is also averaging loss of estuaries, and more than 5,500 acres a year. And at the same time, we are losing the necessary resources to filter pollution, maintain the balance of the ecosystem. We are also seeing rapid increases in nutrient pollution. And yeah, those estuaries help to balance out the nutrient load. And when we lose them, we lose part of our ability to balance that load out. Those are hazardous liquid and gas transmission pipelines. Currently, the Gulf plays host to the world's largest network of subsea infrastructure. Not just the nation, but the largest network in the world. Many of these pipelines cut through what used to be wetlands. They've been cut away to accommodate the pipelines. This is all about balance, folks. Balancing the needs of those industries with the rebalancing and rebuilding of the wetlands and coastal communities is difficult, but it can be done if we all work together.
Thank you. I want to follow up what Secretary Drew said from Florida, the football analogy. It really has helped our discussions progress as we go on, being a state that has defeated every other state represented at this table. Usually, as soon as we bring up a football topic, everybody's like, no, let's go back to negotiations. But seriously, I want to thank the President for issuing the executive order. I want to thank the EPA for very, very quickly standing up this task force and getting everyone here and meeting so we can begin discussing these challenges. I represent the Coastal Protection Restoration Authority of Louisiana, which is an entity that was set up post-Katrina to address coastal resiliency efforts in the state. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in just a minute. The oil spill brought a lot of attention to a crisis that was ongoing in the Gulf Coast. This area is absolutely incredible in terms of its productivity. It's a gold mine. The ecosystem services, the energy, the seafood, the maritime, the tourism and recreational opportunities are second to none. This area is incredible in terms of its productivity and its natural and cultural resources. In Louisiana specifically, and you saw some of the stats that were on the screen a few minutes ago, we've lost over 2,300 square miles of coastal wetlands. It's about 90% of the continental wetland loss in the United States. 2,300 square miles. If that were Delaware, if that were Rhode Island, it wouldn't exist anymore. Wipe it off the map. We'd have 40 48 states. This same area provided $165 billion to the U.S. Treasury in terms of energy revenues. It's incredible in terms of the productivity thing. The challenges we're facing aren't necessarily local challenges, they aren't parochial challenges, they aren't even regional challenges. They have nationwide and international implications. This is the most productive ecosystem in North America, on this continent, right here in the Gulf of Mexico. And again, the repercussions of this oil spill, the repercussions of the hurricanes, statistics prove, the facts prove that there are national and international repercussions. Every taxpayer in this country is paying for the loss and the degradation of this ecosystem. We have fundamental policy challenges that are obstacles to our progress. We can have all the money in the world, and we're not going to be able to solve the problems of the Gulf Coast. And I just had a meeting last week with all the parish presidents, and Billy Nungesser, who's Plaquemines Parish president and part-time CNN co-host with Anderson Cooper, he talked about his frustration that we're unable to dream bigger. And the projects that we have on the shelf, the ideas that we have, are governed by the policies that are in place and the structure in place for these projects. You can't dream big if the revenues are never going to come in. You can't dream big if you can't get over regulatory and policy hurdles. And so the fact that we're sitting here today, this is fantastic. And again, commend the President, commend EPA, the fact that you have all the decision makers, all the agencies here, the states here, the NGOs, the local governments here. There's no more pointing a finger to say, oh wait, we need to wait on so-and-so, or that's his problem. It's our problem, and we're the only ones who can solve it, everybody in this room. We very much look forward to working together with the federal government, continuing this partnership, because all of us working together is the only way we're going to be able to solve the problem, we're going to be able to spend the money, and we're going to be able to ensure the resiliency of the incredible Gulf Coast resources that we all enjoy today. Thank you. Thank you so much.